Hi, this is Zach here with the Christmas Eve edition of the Bulletin Board Heroes. It is Friday, the 24th of December, starting off with Bezant, and here you can see that there's been some decent bullish divergence in the RSI window, so much lower price for the December to date, but an uptrend line in the oscillator window, so that could be enough to propel the shares up towards the 50-day moving average at 0.2, and then a best case scenario maybe by the end of next month if we keep going up to 0.25, 0.26. Obviously, we'd like 0.1 to hold over the near term. One of the better situations in the mining space over the last few weeks has been Conroy Gold. The big charting breakout there with the break of that January resistance line around the 22 pence level. Since then, we've made good progress. I suppose it looks as though we're in a mid-move consolidation now, so above 35 pence, looking for a fresh move to the upside up to as high as 55 pence, maybe by the end of next month or perhaps going into February. We've got that wide rising trend channel from back in the early part of 2019, or 2020 rather, and that could take the shares up to the mid-50s. Moving on to another stock which has had a great year to date, Cornish Metals. Here you can see that we've got this wide rising trend channel in place. We peaked near 30 pence, come back a bit, but remained above that last gap there around the 21 pence level. And while we hold that, looking for as high as 35 pence at that March 2020 resistance line projection. In fact, it's March 2021 resistance line projection. Got to get those years right. On to Nanosynth, and here we've had a recovery over the recent past. Always looked like the 0.55, 0.6 area was support for the shares. We've had a little dip down towards the 50-day moving average. That was around 3/4 of a penny, but managed to avoid hitting it. So basically old resistance becoming a new support. And that does suggest that at least while we're above the 200-day line to around 1.05 pence, we could or should retest the recent resistance for the shares around 1.6 pence. Best case scenario target at the moment up to 2 pence, which is the top of a broadening triangle from the summer on the daily chart of Nanosynth. You can see also that RSI uptrend line still working there for the shares and pushing them higher. President Energy has been a sort of a recovery situation in the recent past. Sort of slow burn here, but what's interesting is that we broke that line of resistance last month around the 2.1 pence level, then tested that line in the 50-day moving average around 2 pence as new support. That seems to have worked, and while we're above 2 pence, looking for 3 pence, maybe over the next 1 to 2 months. Moving along to stock which has been sort of captured my imagination. I'm not sure if it's captured anybody else's, but Quantum Blockchain. Here we're in this holding pattern here, just above at and around the 50-day moving average, around 2.7 pence, 2.8 pence. While we're above that, looking for that resistance line from October to break and a retest of 4 to 4.5 pence over the near term. Best case scenario target at the moment over the next 1 to 2 months as high as 5.25 pence at the top of the February rising trend channel. On to Seed Innovations, which I interviewed a few weeks ago, or maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, something like that. Nice to see a rebound there, basically bouncing off the support that's been in place since the early part of last week, so just under the 5 pence area. The good point here, I suppose, is that we're not only looking at the technicals, but we're also looking at the way that the fundamentals are kicking in as well. The NAV around 11 pence, and the share price obviously still well below that, but above 6 pence, looking for a retest of at least post-July resistance around 9 pence, especially with a decent close today at or above the 50-day moving average. Good bullish divergence there as well, so we have the retest there of the sub 5 pence area and a much higher RSI, so that is giving a decent look to the chart at the moment. Moving along to stock which is finally starting to recover. came off the best levels of the summer towards £1.60, but looks like we've got a decent base for Tirupati just below the 70 pence level. We had a bear trap rebound as well earlier in the month, and decent close and a decent end of year close above the 50-day moving average around the 80 pence or 79 pence level should be enough to give us a 100 pence target for perhaps as soon as the end of January. One of today's few significant rises is Zinwald, and worth taking a look here. We broke the uptrend line there around the 17 pence level, but it looks as though old resistance or the old trading range, initial trading range of the year, around 12 to 13 pence has kicked in, and above 12 pence we're looking for a return to the 50-day moving average area through 20 pence over the next 4 to 6 weeks, something like that. And modicum of bullish divergence there as well, so the price went much lower, but the RSI basically the same as it's been since October in terms of support. That's it for me today. More updates over the Christmas period.